dysfunctional vet. We have our stake. Our stake would be labeled with the information that we're going to be using for mapping. The way I make a plotting notebook, I take 1 or 2 pages, maybe 3 if there's going to be a lot of points. I put them inside this thing. I slide it into a long reach. This is a long reach stapler. This slides down and then we just fold the little baby in half. And it doesn't come out exactly on the staples because the staples would then be on the spine, and I really didn't want that. So I moved it just slightly so it's just off. Now the reason I like these is when I finish something and I want to file it, I can open this up. It will lay flat, it takes up no room, it slides right in. If I actually used a physical booklet and I had a bunch of booklets inside my files, they would just take up more space. This is just like having 3 extra sheets of paper in with all my sketches and drawings inside a manila folder inside my file cabinet. It's going to be a yard sketch. We're going to have our stake number. We don't need to worry about grids and all that other stuff. Again, remember, these survey stakes are considered temporary. And if we need to do additional drawings, we would come back out, locate this stake, and keep going. Now, something that a friend of mine does is he takes and he drives a nail in this with a, I'm trying to remember what it's called. Use it to hold tar paper. It's just a big metal ring. Puts that on, drives it into the ground. Then when he needs to find it, he uses a metal detector. Those rings will rot out fairly quick. I'm going to be using ink for this. Normally, I would be using pencil. So if I make a mistake, I can erase it. First thing I do is I make a rough sketch of what I've got. This is a sketch on the inside cover. And what I have is I have a porch over here, and then I have this gate, and I want to be shooting these posts on here. I want to shoot the corner post, the post down here where the kennel ties into my fence, comes along. I have a gate here, and this is all the stuff that I want to shoot. The line with the X's is a fence. The airlock is so that I can get in and out with the dogs not getting out. And of course there's a dog house in here, and we're going to want to put that in because that's a feature that's more or less permanent. But you can see how I've drawn this out, and I use letter conventions, A, B, and so forth around, and I'll show you the next page. Here I have everything written out using the alphabet. We have the removable post, which is how I expand that gate that I talked about, the south kennel fence, south porch corner, and so forth. Down here is that kennel area, and that's what we're actually going to be measuring. You can see that we have a lot of data points that I want to collect, but right now we're only concentrating on the kennel so I can keep this short for you. My azimuth from the transit was 80, 84, and 40 degrees as I'm swinging to the east. My distance by tape was 35.5, 34.6, and 37. With the rod, it was 35.3, 31.8, and 31 feet. So the only thing I can tell you about that is reading a rod is not easy, and obviously I could use some work. My altitude was from where the transit was set up, these altitudes that I recorded. Remember, unless the transit was set up at the same altitude above ground, these readings would alter. But I'm just recording so that I have some type of a reference. There is what's called an absolute, and I've run into this before. there are some places that are like benchmarks that have been put in by contractors around buildings, and it's for foundation subsidence or any kind of other foundation issues. And those points are well known, they're well identified, and those things are used to get absolute altitude variations whenever you've got some type of a major building. I first ran into these when I was at Walter Reed Army Hospital. I'm here with my entourage. The medved, Makar, Fern, and Sasha. And what we're looking at is the stake that we've placed into the ground, and I'm going to show you why this spot was selected. But here's my survey stake. Because I'm going to be using this for teaching a class, just kind of put a label on here. Normally this would be spray painted bright orange all the way around, and then using a Sharpie we'd put some information right at the exact top just below this orange tab, and that would like have a number, and we would plot elevation and location and all kinds of stuff like that. But we're doing a yard, so we don't need all that. But why did I select that spot? Let me show you. This right here is the gate that I can drive my truck through, or I can bring my tractor in, which is what I'm going to have to do to get these big logs out that I cut the other day. And there is my corner post right in the center of the screen. It's just a kind of a black blob. There's the fence post for the kennel. Here is the gate for the kennel entrance. There's the locking gate pole. Here's the upright, and then the kennel goes back in here. This is the airlock that I discussed a moment ago, and the fence continues down. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a tripod, and we're going to put the transit on it, and we're going to use a rod, a couple of spots here, and we're going to see where they're at, and then we're going to tape measure using the transit, the Brunton transit compass. We're going to shoot all that, and we're going to see how the numbers add up.